Good morning. It's Tuesday, April 14th, and today we are going to give you an introduction of two different drawing techniques, drawing and shading techniques. One is pointillism, and that's where you use dots to shade. The more dots that you have, the darker it is, the less dots, the lighter it is. And the second one is called cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is when you change lines, and we're going to show you a little bit about how you can start each one of those. Okay, we have two methods that we're going to work with today as far as to use an ink pen. You can use your pencil if you want to, but it's more dramatic, I think, as far as if you try it with your ink pen, as far as the difference between the lights and the darks. Cross-hatching just literally means that you're crossing lines. So you can have lines that are crossed in two ways, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And as you can see, the more times you cross the lines, the darker the area gets. The less you cross, the lighter it is. So we've been talking about values, and basically that's what this is. It's just creating values in a different way than we have before. Your assignment, you could try just taking off your shoes. Hopefully you've got on some pretty comfortable shoes right now, or some of you may not have any shoes on at all if you're home, so you might just go find one in your closet. And you can see where the dark area, where it's going in, got dark inside here where you can see you have dark around the bottom. So to ground it, but you're again training your eye to see the lights and darks. Cross-hatching can be a very beautiful, dramatic way of drawing, as far as where you're just changing the lines back and forth. You're leaving areas that are white, and you have some that are really dark, and that dramatic value change, that contrast, makes very beautiful paintings or drawings. So today I'm going to kind of show you how we can do some cross-hatching. And so we're just going to start off with kind of the shape of an apple. All right, so we're going to kind of make this shape of an apple, which is kind of a sphere. And then you're going to start adding lines that are going to be in the direction of what you're trying to shade. So we're just going to start adding some lines. And our lines are going to change depending on the direction of what we're drawing. And they're going to get closer together where we want it darker, and we're going to have less lines out where we want it to be lighter. Now, cross-hatching and pointillism, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, are wonderful things to do while we're just kind of watching TV or mellowing out, listening to good music. And because you really can't make a big mistake because you're just using little lines. And so as long as you just kind of just keep going, it'll start at really making sense in a little bit. So I'm left-handed, so I like to just kind of keep turning the page. I'm just making lines to kind of go along with the contour of what I'm drawing. I'm going to put some that are going to go this direction because the apple doesn't just go around that way. And you look at your subject matter and you just keep saying, well, what are the angles? What are the way the lines are going? And you can have really dark lines along the edges. And you can leave some really nice whites. And you can just keep going. Keep going and keep going and keep going and keep adding things until you get it the way that you really want it. All right, so that's an example of cross-hatching. Now, the other way takes even longer. This is not a hurried deal, so I'm kind of hurrying a little bit to get it done in the 15-minute time that we have here together. But I want you to be able to know you could take your time and make it last a little longer. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to do pointillism. And pointillism is where you just have different dots. And you have dots that are further apart for when you have it white, and you have it closer together when it's really dark. And you can do things like, you know, flowers, faces, an eye, anything you want, but it's just dots, and that's called pointillism. So if we take the same thing we did before, and we're going to start off by drawing it in a pencil, because we don't want to have any lines on this one, then we can just start making dots. And you just make dots. You just lay your pen down and you just keep making dots. You have less dots where you want it lighter, and you have more dots where you want it darker. And you just continue making dots. When you make your dots that are kind of in a line, they will kind of indicate your border. We talked the other day about the word implied line, kind of like when we folded the paper for the airplane. Well, when you have dots that go into a row, they also make an implied line. So once you kind of have your design, you can erase your pencil and you can just begin to start adding dots. So this again would be where you'd put on your music and you just listen to your music as you begin to add more and more dots in the areas that you wanted to be darker and less dots in the area that you want to be lighter. I really miss everybody. This art room when we're filming is way, way, way too quiet. I miss all the stories and the laughter and the giggles. I'm looking so forward when you guys can come back. And we can all get together. And you can see how that you start creating value by just the more dots that are together, it's darker, and the less dots, it gets to be lighter. I think it's supposed to be nice today, so maybe we can all get outside and plant something, or at least enjoy the sunshine and go for a walk. That's what I'm looking forward to. All right, you guys get the idea. You can do more and more dots. Again, we've got lots of dots here where it's darker. Got darker where the dots are more concentrated, less where it's lighter, and you can begin to create your design just with dots, and that's called pointillism. Okay, so now you have two new techniques to practice. One is if you can get if somebody else in your house is watching one of those reruns of baseball games, like from 2012, final series, you can get them and you could try your dots and do a portrait, or just kick off your shoes and use your shoes as a subject matter and try those with the new cross-hatching technique that you've just learned. Have fun, and don't forget to wash your hands.